You ain't kick the door down, ain't gotta kick the whores out. Hurt a little bit, hurt them more when you walked out. Papers on the table, you want that divorce now. And not for nothing, you feel like the kid is your child, begging you to get the DV case tossed out. That'll be the day. You're in New York now, court bound, where the women run and talk loud and slam down a mallet for beating up on your spouse. Boss out, Sagittarius in the 4th house. Apparently the loft just bought, walls tore down. Lot of space between the ceilings and the floor now. Yeah, I think I'll take the tour now. Never thought that they would come. She ain't done. During the whole time she was mute, but she ain't dumb. Verbal family and love, bro. Here they come, just to see what you've become. Something fearsome that he never thought that they would come. You ain't done. You was down since day one. A1, what you supposed to do? Take crumbs while he rebels in his same fun. Hello, Satan. Moral of the story, don't ever clip your options. Phone password, the only thing you should be locked in. Block out whatever doesn't want to see you prosper.
Okay, so during Secret Houses, the podcast, last episode, I spoke about some things that related to the 5th house because children are associated with the 5th house, right? So I didn't drop the knowledge publicly, and because of what's happening in the nation right now, really all over the world, but it's like heavily increasing inside of the nation. And whether this is speculation or not, it could be fake news. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes people spread disinformation just to cause reactions from people. I understand that as well. So I don't know how many of these cases are actually real, but I tell you this, the whole missing child thing, the missing, that I feel is something that I should speak about. Because some things can be found in astrology that can assist you in finding out whether your child may be susceptible to dangers, or if you yourself was susceptible to the danger as a child. You might have been able to relate with what I'm about to say. Now, I found 2 things, and there's probably more, but I just feel like I need to get this out there now. And, there's so many things that's public right now about this topic right now that I'm like, okay, let me just come from out of Secret Houses and put at least this out there. You know what I'm saying? So the 12th house, let me put emphasis on the 12th house, right? The 12th house ruled by Pisces, ruled by Neptune, right? Drugs, chemicals, being a chemist, all of this stuff is also ruled by the 12th house. So, you might search the 12th house. You might think, to search the 12th house for astrological things that will be related to drugs. But what happens here is that what I've learned is there's 2, I guess you could call sweet spots from studying astrology that I found that are relative to children who have substance abusers as parents, or their parents are absent. And what happens when this happens is, predators have the ability to come in and, take your child, rape your child, abuse your child, or your child just may end up in a foster home. Your child may end up with the church. Your child may end up, in an orphanage or something like that, based upon these findings. Okay, so one of these findings are Pisces inside of the 4th house. Pisces inside of the 4th house suggests that you had either an absent parent, or you have a substance abuser as a parent, maybe even both. All right, because again, I broke down the 12th house. Pisces is ruled by 12th house, so it flows into the home. 4th house represents the home. So another one is the 5th house. If you have a south node in the 5th house, this suggests that you will abandon your children. All right, you will be an absent parent when it comes to your children in this spot as well, because the south node is representative of the things that are discarded, the things that get let go of, the things that get abandoned, the things that you leave. It's the tail of the dragon. You know what I mean? And there'll even be instances where you don't intend for that to happen. There are forces that are just more powerful than you that work together to see that through. All right. So I know this may be a bit depressing because what do you do if you already have these placements inside of your natal chart, right? Or your children already have these placements inside of your natal chart. What can you do? And I agree. You know what I mean? So only to some extent is what you can do based upon it already being done. But I say that to say this. I mentioned those places in astrology because of this. And this is something that I've thought about working on. Should I be able to pull it off? It'd be great. But just think about this, right? If you're thinking about making children, if you're thinking about bringing children into this world, truly think about it, because people can actually prey on your babies getting here before they get here. You may say, well, how's that? Well, if you are questioning, how's that, right? Let me break it down for you. So, the same way that I can look at astrology and say, okay, Pisces is ruled by 12th house. 12th house rules over drugs and chemicals, right? Now, if Pisces in the 4th house suggests that the children that are born there are going to be conflicted with having a parent that is a substance abuser or not present, then anyone or whoever, whatever faction, institution, secret society, whoever they are, right, can also have sorcerers in their cabinet. Well, I would be considered a sorcerer back in the day. So a sorcerer inside of their camp that can look into the stars as well and say, well, okay, we just got to find out where these babies with Pisces in the 4th house are, so we can do our rituals, so we can have our babies, so so they can be pedophilia, so they can do their pedophilia thing or whatever the case may be, right? And if you think I'm joking, just use this Bible story as a reference. When they came looking for Jesus, right, the story was already preset. It was already preset. So it's just like, if the king gets word that the most powerful person is about to get born into the world, and they're going to be born where? In a manger, I think is how it's pronounced, right? Which is supposed to be a place of poverty, if I'm not mistaken, right? And they're going to be born on this day. You got to follow this star. It's going to be under this star, right? Follow where I'm going? So if they can predict this beforehand, don't think that they can't predict it with your children. Okay? And it's even more emphasis should be put on him being born in a manger, Jesus being born in a manger, because this is the type of environment that makes them vulnerable, makes children vulnerable, makes parents included, right? Makes them susceptible to the dangers that's associated with Pisces being in the 4th house, because you can expect some type of chemicals to go around there. You could expect some type of alchemy to be going on there. You could expect some type of rituals that include alcoholism and stuff like that to be taking place there, right? So now, just imagine, now go back to the story. The king wanted to get this baby out of here before he was even born. So why would the king want to do that? You're the king already, dude. Like, who? So what if dude's going to be the most powerful? Like, you're a king. Like, what is it? Like, you know what I'm saying? But this is just goes to show you how sick some people can be, how unhealthy their egos can be, to the point where they'll track a child down before they're even born. And now think about this. This is why I mention these things. Think about this as far as colonization goes, gentrification goes. People can section off, what do they call, drug areas, hot drug zones, or whatever they're called. You know what I'm saying? That's not a coincidence that these places are infested with drugs. It's not a coincidence. So you can expect the timing to facilitate, to encourage the interaction between two people to have babies in this environment under these conditions, because those drugs are so heavily circulated in that environment. However, if you go far off into this environment over here, where the statistics are different, more affluent, then you can expect not to see a whole lot of babies with Pisces in the 4th house, or a whole lot of babies with, or a whole lot of people with South Node in the 5th house, right? And then you can see more marriages, right? Because if you have a marriage that's going to stay together for 25, 30 years, you can pretty much doubt that their kid is going to be abandoned with a South Node. Like, That's not how the universe works. You know what I'm saying? The universe works on symbology, on symbols, on movements, on actions, and inactions. You know what I'm saying? So wherever the probability is higher for activity to take place to where people can have sex and make babies where there's drugs, then you can expect to see these vulnerable spots. That's pretty much what I'm saying. So this extends to people who want livers, people who want to search the market for organ harvesting and all of that. All of this stuff is included. You know what I'm saying? All of this is up for game. I told y'all about health astrology. I've been studying that too. You know what I'm saying? I can describe the organs in your bodies and stuff like that. So us coming out to tell you these types of things, there's more people like us, is pretty much what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So my point being, well, one of my points being is, if you want to actually bring children to this place, study this. I'm asking you, study this stuff and time it. So, some people, they actually go to the doctor and they're like, yeah, we're trying to make a baby. And, they'd be like, oh, well, you'll be ovulating at this time, X, Y, Z, da, da, da. Okay, well, make sure you don't ovulate where there's 5 liquor stores on the corner. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about this. So, because you don't know until it unfolds, and then you're like, I couldn't have planned my life to come out this way. Yeah, I bet not. You know what I'm saying? But these concentrated areas can produce these types of parents and produce these types of children that are vulnerable. So now just imagine what third world countries go through. There's like whole large swaths of geographic area that is vulnerable because of poverty. You know what I mean? And absent parents and stuff like that. So you look at the America now, look how much is under attack by drugs and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? I think some type of lawsuit just happened to it. I'm not even going to speak about that, mess up my algorithm based upon it. But I think that, to me, that was shocking, because it was actually some type of justice shown. Like, who justice out here these days? Like, I thought that was something we read about in the history books and stuff. But whatever, I'm being sarcastic now, but I just wanted to share that information with y'all. You know what I'm saying? Think about it before you bring children into this world. I'm out.